Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, North Carolina, whoever you want to associate with the program, they got taken out last night, 48-14 by TCU. Josh, I'm going to let you go first on this one because I have a little bit of a different take.
It wasn't surprising at all. Although North Carolina looked good on their first drive, and then after that, no.
They bullied them on their. They ran the ball down TCU's throat in the first drive.
Yeah, and the play action game was working. And then they didn't complete, after that, they didn't complete another pass for like another 2 hours or something crazy.
Yeah, in real time. I think that kid, what's the last name of the backup quarterback? Johnson. He came in, I think he attempted more passes on that first drive than Lopez did like the whole game.
You might be right about that, honestly.
They only threw the ball 8 times when Lopez was in there. And again, the pick six was bad. It completely flipped the game. What was it, 10-7 with 4 minutes left in the first half? Pick six, 17-7. From there, it was TCU City. Now, everybody's gone on, including myself today on Brandon's World, and said, oh my God, Bill Belichick, he's overrated. He's getting exposed. This is going to be terrible. Josh, I had an epiphany this morning when I woke up. I slept on him, and I thought of something today while I was a little bit sleepy going through my day job at work. You know what my biggest takeaway from last night was?
The fact that they had 70 new players and couldn't get on the same page?
Not even close. In a year's time, Bill Belichick will be coaching your Cleveland Browns.
Oh, Lord.
So, I'm throwing it out there, and I'm doing a little bit of a U, right? I'm going a little bit off the grid. But seriously, when I watched that game last night, first of all, Bill Belichick looked angry. He looked like he was not into it. I said it at the time when he was hired in December. Bill Belichick was never cut out to be a college football coach. I believe there's a handshake agreement to where he leaves North Carolina and Steve Belichick automatically becomes the new head coach of the program. And we know Belichick wants to get back in the NFL. He was so desperate to be in the NFL last year that he contacted the freaking New York Jets of all teams, which we know he hates. In my opinion, there's only 2 NFL franchises who can legitimately give Belichick the keys to the car, and it would be the Giants and it would be the Browns. And the Browns, I think, would allow Belichick basically to pick his own quarterback because they wouldn't be married to Shador or Dylan Gabriel at that point, where I think the Giants would be a little more married to Jackson Dart. So I look at it and I go, if the Browns go off the rails this year and Belichick's as bad at North Carolina as he was last night, Josh, I think Belichick could be living in our city next year.
I can't see the Haslams doing it. I can't.
Everybody's telling me that, and my argument is, if they go 3-14 again, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski clearly would need to get blown up, in my opinion. And to me, again, I think this whole North Carolina conversation is about getting Belichick back to the NFL. We know Belichick wants complete power. Why not let him go to Cleveland and fix whatever mess you have? He would have complete autonomy over that roster.
Do I really want that, though? Like, he had complete autonomy in New England, and he drafted Colton Strange.
Yeah, I know. And listen, they have 70 new players. Now, they're going to get better throughout the season. I don't think that Lopez is a very good quarterback. I think they have a very good run-blocking offensive line. I don't think they have a very good pass-blocking offensive line at all. Their defense, I think, will get better. I know they play some sort of cupcake in week 2. I don't have the name. It might be Chattanooga or somebody off the top of my head. Let's see. UNC football.
Charlotte.
I knew it started with a C. So they play Charlotte. Then they play Richmond. Then they play UCF. So, could they be 3-1 when they go to, or when they host Clemson? Sure. But from what I saw last night, man, like this is a 4-win football team. Is Belichick going to really coach a 4-win football team in college?
It was not good. TCU was doing whatever they wanted. Jordan Dwyer looked like a man amongst boys last night.
And TCU is a Big 12 school where they're cupcake defenses. I mean, TCU's a good team. They're not a great team. They obviously made the college football playoff a couple years ago, but they're not on the same level. But they looked like North Carolina was completely out-coached, outclassed. And Bill's expressions on the sideline looked like he didn't even want to be there.
And when they play at UCF, UCF is another Big 12 team. So
yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. Like, they're nowhere close to Miami. They're nowhere close to Clemson. And
Florida State looks legit. I mean, look at the way they absolutely hammered Alabama. I want to get into that game because did you hear what Castellanos, the starting quarterback for Florida State, was even saying? Like, they don't have Nick Saban isn't there to save them. What are they going to do? And Florida State just went up and down and did whatever they wanted. They looked like the team from the SEC, not Alabama. Everybody's saying Alabama this, Alabama that. Kalen DeBoer is on the hot seat. I've even heard that Alabama should try and convince Nick Saban to come out of retirement.
ESPN employees are saying, please let Nick Saban get out of the contract with our network so he can go back to Alabama.
But why is the story so much about Alabama? That's my question. Florida State was 2-10 last year, and they come out and they punch Alabama right in the mouth. They punked Alabama.
Because Alabama was supposed to be at least the top 3 team in the SEC this year, along with Georgia and LSU, and they fell flat on their face. And Kalen DeBoer was a very good coach of Washington. Remember the last year he was there, Michael Penix, and they battled with Bo Nix in Oregon. Remember that classic Pac-12 championship game? And everybody liked DeBoer, but maybe we're just realizing that he wasn't ready for the SEC and that, the Pac-12 isn't the SEC at this point. And
No shit. Like, when he was at at Washington, he was all about finesse and, trick plays and big passes. That's not going to get it done in the SEC. The SEC is defense, line of scrimmage, establish the run game. Like, that's how teams win in that conference.
Yeah, and again, maybe they just took Florida State too lightly, thinking that they were going to roll over. I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction to go, oh my God, they need to bring back Nick Saban and Alabama's done. Like, it is week 1 of the college football season. Okay, this isn't the 14 playoff anymore. This is a 12-team playoff now. It would be like, remember that one year Ohio State with Urban Meyer lost the opening game to Virginia Tech?
Yes. And yet they still won the national championship.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Even with like Belichick and North Carolina, I'm not here to overreact to week 1. I do think there are some concerns for Alabama, mainly at the quarterback position offensively. I think they'll get tougher on the defensive line. Like, I want to see them play against Georgia because that was the best game Jalen Milroe played all year last year. Remember, that was the crazy game where Bama was up early, then Georgia came back, then Ryan Smith made that incredible catch down the sideline to win the game for Alabama. That, to me, will be the test if Georgia blows out Alabama. That game is September 27th, I believe.
In Georgia.
That, to me, is Alabama's first test. They can lose this game to Florida State and be fine. Was I shocked by it? Yes. Is there some concern to it? And I understand it from the Bama folks, yes. But this is like NFL week 1 overreaction now in college football.
Listen, with when you're the guy that's following the greatest coach of all time, as Nick Saban, is touted to be, you gotta at least meet that high standard to a certain degree.
Well, it's very hard. Remember what I said about Gerard Mayo when he took over Belichick? I said it's not going to work. You can't be the guy after the guy. Just like I said, Mac Jones was not going to work for the Patriots because you can't be the guy after the guy. I mean, it's true in all sports. When you have these legendary
we're
figures.
On the same page then.
I mean, I like DeVore. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think the expectations for Alabama are way higher, and I have set them there. I think they are a really good team, but maybe we just have forgotten that Nick Saban is the GOAT for a reason, and we need to lower Alabama's expectations. That's all I'm saying.
But again, this whole conversation has been Alabama, Alabama, Alabama. Let's flip the script.
Because no one believes in Florida State. Let's be real.
Florida State. Mike Norvell did a heck of a job coaching this team. He gave the offensive keys to Gus Malzahn. They were doing whatever they wanted. Florida State looks like a legit team now.
They may be a legit team and they can win games, just like Tennessee was a legit team last year. Nobody thought Tennessee was a legitimate national championship contender.
If Florida State keeps winning, they'll be viewed that way. Let's see. Okay, so they're not going to they play at Clemson in early November.
Is that their next ranked game?
Yep. Well, no, actually no. October 4th, they host Miami.
Okay. There's their test. So, by the way, oh my God, I can't believe they take out my alma mater, Kent State. Take Florida State minus 50 in that game. So their next test will be Miami, Florida. That's when we'll know if they're for real or not, because they also get them at home. Yeah. I would not be surprised if that is a 3:30 or 7:30 ESPN ABC type game.
That should be a 7:30 ABC, Herb Street, Fowler, or Reese Davis on the call. By the way, I'm very excited for this Michigan-Oklahoma game on Saturday night in Norman.
I'm not. It has no juice for me. Absolutely zero.
It is good. It's a fascinating game. You got two of the blue bloods in college football, more so Michigan because of the powerhouse they've been over the last few seasons. Whether they've cheated or not doesn't matter to me. They've been a very solid team. Oklahoma has produced like 3 or 4 Heisman Trophy winners. I think they're a very solid team. I'm very interested in this game.
Yeah, solid teams don't get me to a TV screen in college football. You know what gets me to a TV screen? Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. If Oklahoma and Michigan were legitimate title contenders, they get me to a TV screen. They're not.
I think you're going to be missing a heck of a game on Saturday night. But anyway, LSU went on the road into Death Valley in South Carolina and took down Clemson once again, just like they did in the 2019 National Championship. Although this one was not as high scoring. And check this out. This was LSU's first opening week game victory since Joe Burrow was the quarterback of that team.
Well, I think they finally have a quarterback in Nussenberger. And I'm here to say, I think LSU may be playing Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think Brian Kelly finally has a quarterback, and therefore I think he finally has a legitimate team.
It was more so their defense, the way they were able to just
because they got like 5 or 6 starters on the back end from the transfer portal.
Yeah. Perkins was fantastic. I thought it was the defensive MVP for LSU in that game. made some key plays down the stretch for LSU defensively.
My more takeaway from this game is I believe that I am right on Clemson. I'm not a fan of Cade Klubnik. I don't think he's a franchise-changing quarterback. I'm not the biggest fan of Dabo Swinney. He hasn't won enough for me since Trevor Lawrence left to go to the NFL. And I don't think Clemson going in was a top 4 team in the country, and I certainly don't believe that now. I would have actually flipped LSU and Clemson's ratings going into this game.
So you would have had LSU number 4 and Clemson number 9.
Yes, I believe LSU is the top 4 team in the country. If you ask me right now who I think the top 4 teams in the country, I think it's absolutely Ohio State. They're definitely number 1. We'll get to them in a minute. I would probably put Georgia at number 2. I think I would put LSU at number 3. And to me, number 4 right now is very fluid. But I think Penn State would probably be around there.
Well, they came out with the AP poll today, and it goes Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, LSU is at number 3, Georgia 4, Miami 5, Oregon 6, Texas fell all the way to 7, Clemson fell to number 8, Notre Dame at 9, South Carolina 10. That's your top 10.
I would put Texas and Oregon, but besides that, I mostly agree with the teams. I mean, you could order Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, and Georgia to me in any order right now.
Alabama fell all the way to 21, and Florida State came in at number 14.
Wow. Talk about an overreaction, though, from the AP to go from unranked to 14 in one game.
Well, yeah, you took down a top 10 team in the fashion they did.
It's one game. Like, to me, I've always said this. I don't believe the real ratings start until the committee rankings start. That's when I actually pay attention to the rankings.
Okay. Well, in terms of this Miami Notre Dame game, it was another classic in this rivalry. Catholics versus convicts. These two teams, when they play each other, it usually comes down to the wire, just like it did on Sunday night. I thought Carson Beck played a heck of a game.
I thought Carson Beck played the best game he's played since the national championship game when he won the back-to-back titles.
But I was equally, if not more, impressed with Notre Dame's starting quarterback. I believe his name is C.J. Carr.
Yeah.
At times, I thought Riley Leonard was still under center for Notre Dame. That's how well he played. Notre Dame is probably still going to be in the mix, but they really need to join the Big Ten. I don't get why they refuse to. It's probably because they're like, we're Notre Dame, and we can stay independent. No, you can't.
Josh, we have 2 good questions from Grandizer here. I'll pop the first one on the screen. Do you have one college team that was surprised this year? A team no one is seeing that may have a great season?
Okay. I actually would have answered this question with Florida State.
That's fair. I thought they were going to have a better year than 2-13, obviously. I think even though they're ranked near the top 10, like maybe Oklahoma, maybe they end up being legitimate in the SEC. Well, depends on what they do against Michigan.
Oklahoma is ranked actually behind Michigan. Oklahoma's 18. Michigan is 15.
So that's what I'm saying. Does Oklahoma, with this win, do they opt into that territory of like they could sneak into the top 10 by the end of the year?
Oklahoma, after this game, I'm looking. They don't have another ranked game until
Texas, I believe.
Yes. And then that starts a brutal stretch because they go Texas, at South Carolina, home against Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Alabama. and then they finished the season at home against LSU.
Yeah, that is brutal. The other one is, and I don't have an answer to this question.
Oh,
Let me
I
go
do.
for a minute. Go on.
Garrett Nussmeier from LSU.
Okay. I mean, for me, and it's very rare that a receiver wins it. I think the last receiver won it was Devontae Smith. I could be wrong on that.
That is correct.
To me, it's Jeremiah Smith. I think that guy's the best player in college football.
Yeah, but it's going to be quarterbacks. And if LSU can continue this run, because they got Florida coming up shortly. And let's see. They also play, I believe, at Alabama. Let me double check.
That is going to be a good game now.
Yeah, they got
LSU at Bama.
They got at Ole Miss, home against South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama. So if Garrett Nussmeier can knock off Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M, and Alabama, that's a solid argument. Because
that I agree with you. I think he's got a chance. I'll tell you one guy that knocked himself out of the running this past week. Some guy named Arch Manning, the quarterback of Texas, who I had said on last Thursday show that we did. I had asked the question, is Arch Manning really as good as everybody claims he is? Because he could not beat out Quinn Ewers when he was at Texas. And I'm not here again to sound the panic button on Arch Manning, but he was bad on Saturday. And
give
he was
credit
missing.
to Matt Patricia and Ohio State's defense.
And by the way, I may have to bring back the well, this is a pen. What's he got? A pencil? I do have a pencil. I may have to bring back the Coach Pencil meme for this season because Coach Pencil is now the defensive coordinator of Ohio State. And I agree with you. There was times that Patricia really did confuse him, but there was other times where he just flat out missed open guys, and they were like skip passes, and he did not look comfortable in the pocket. He had happy feet. And again, it's year 3 under Steve Sarkisian's system. And Josh, I know it was his first ever road start. I expected him to not play well, I didn't expect them to only put up 7 points on the board.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be that low scoring of a game. I thought
I said, remember what I said? I said it was going to be like 2017, more lower scoring than most. I said it was going to be a defensive game. Turned out it was. But I think this is the case that both these teams had a first, time quarterback starting, and defenses are typically ahead of the offenses early in the season.
I did like the way Julian Sayin played in that game, though.
Yeah, he was definitely calm. He made good rhythmic decisions. I thought Brian Hartline, their new offensive coordinator, who's been their wide receiver coach for years, I thought early on they were sort of hesitant to let it rip. They let him rip more in the second half. I thought it was very weird how Texas really protected Arch Manning. Like they were keeping him in bubble wrap.
Yeah. I didn't see a lot of bootlegs and play action passes from Texas to get Arch Manning away from, the pressure and stuff. Ohio State, for the most part, was just able to pin their ears back and get after Arch. Like, I don't get it. He was able to settle into the game
very late in the fourth quarter. Their touchdown drive, he made some good throws.
Yes.
But again, the thing about this game was, even though it was 0-0 and then 7-0 for a while, it never felt like Texas had a shot to me after the first quarter. It just felt like Ohio State was very much in control.
Yeah. I thought Matt Patricia did a great job of showing Arch Manning one thing, and then Ohio State's defense would be like a chameleon and change into something else. That was one of the biggest differences. And Ohio State's not going to get tested again until they host Penn State. Like, They host Grambling this week. They're going to win like 65-0.
Well,
Like,
don't they play Illinois at the start of October, I believe? I know Illinois is supposed to be pretty good this year.
I can look.
I know there's a game at Illinois, I believe, that October 4th or October 11th before they play Penn State.
Yeah, they're at Illinois on October 11th.
October 11th. So Illinois dropped one spot to number 11. That will be a test for them, in my opinion, because they're not going to get tested again. Wisconsin at Wisconsin, though, even though Wisconsin's not a great program anymore, I will say Ohio State does typically struggle when they go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Camp Randall has been a very difficult place for Ohio State. I will never forget when the Badgers absolutely destroyed them back in 2010. So that's a tough little stretch, but you're like at Washington, home against Minnesota, at Purdue, home against UCLA, Rutgers. Like, the Ohio State's probably going to handle Illinois pretty easily because it's Ohio State. But yeah, that's my take on it, honestly.
The biggest thing for me when it comes to Arch Manning, and I said this on last week's show, I've been told 3 times in my life there was a generational prospect in the NFL. The first one was Andrew Luck, who turned out to be generational, which is Ryan Grinting and the old coach regime refused to put an offensive line around him. The second one was Trevor Lawrence, who we're still waiting to see. I mean, we said on Sunday, is he still a legit NFL starting quarterback? And the third is Caleb Williams, who we're about to find out this year with Ben Johnson. All 3 of those guys I've heard, generational prospect. Oh, they're so good in college. They're lighting it up. Arch Manning doesn't strike me as a generational prospect when I watch him. That's all. When I saw more juice out of guys like Lawrence, Caleb, even a Deshaun Watson, even a Tua back when he was at Alabama, Burrow that year at LSU. I think the rumors out there about his grandpa saying that Arch is going to stay at least 2 more years at Texas and play a full 4 years. To me, Arch looks like he needs another year under his belt.
Yeah. Texas, they have to play at Florida. Home, they play the Red River rivalry against Oklahoma. Then they have to play at Georgia.
That's the game we need to see Arch in. That's the game, because that's going to be the game where he's going to face the best defense all year, because I think Georgia's defense is even better than Ohio State's.
Oh, I don't know about that. Not when you have Matt Patricia, who's won like 3 Super Bowls and can throw.
Matt Patricia is the most overrated coordinator of my lifetime. He may be great in college, but what has he done outside of coaching with Belichick? When he went to Detroit, their defense wasn't good. They were terrible. What did he do when he was in Philadelphia, Josh? He destroyed my locker room.